Good
Nothing
transition.
they could have did. So we're gonna move right into the Supreme Court decision today. And like I said, if that had happened this Thursday, we could have sent a drone in there and blew them up, and not have to account for it. This was a big ruling. Like we said, Suleiman and I said about 2 or 3 weeks ago, like we said last week, the three of us, Supreme Court shouldn't have never took up this case. When the Supreme Court takes a case, they supposed to make whatever the ruling should make, whatever the ruling should make, whatever the case is, clear cut for everybody. They shouldn't be taking up a case and then sending it back down and say the courts you decide was what was official and not official. Supreme Court has done the federal courts and local courts a disservice with this ruling, in my opinion. So it's just unbelievable they took up this case, and I don't think we can get anything out of it. So the question we're going to start with today is, what are the implications of today's Supreme Court decision? Somebody talk to me.
I'll start it off since Suma started the last one off. So here's what I think the implications are. We are now facing with that ruling an imperial presidency. It's everything that the framers were against. And I think Sangha Sotomayor said that. She said, I descend along with the framers, because everything that they did today is against everything they stood for. So, and this is the thing, the reason they shouldn't have taken it up, in my opinion, like we talked about, was Article 2 of the Constitution already says the president has immunity for official acts. Like when Bush went after Saddam Hussein, they said, hey, he's acting on behalf of the country. We shouldn't hold him accountable for that. But some international courts do. You know, the Hague, if they say we want to bring him up on war crimes, you know, they're agencies that do that, the UN. And then the other thing was just not outside of Article 2, if we want to go and have an autocrat that's leading that, and they say there's no repercussions, to your point, Tony, they can do anything and say it's official. But back when Kennedy was looking, you know, the Bay of Pigs, he was like, I want to take out Castro because he's going to be a problem with us. You don't hold Kennedy and say you go before court because he's acting on behalf of the president. Trump was acting on behalf of himself, in office, out of office, everywhere else. So why do you have to rule on that? Because it's never been an issue in 200 plus years. It's never been an issue, Article 2, until now, because he's guilty. He's a rat. He's dirty. He says, oh, I need complete immunity. You don't need complete immunity. You've got immunity for the acts that you take, unless they're personal in nature and not official. But here's the thing. What if he issues an order? Like for example, we all were in the military. We took the oath. The oath is the lawful orders of those appointed above me, officers. Now they're going to put the onus on me, on SEAL Team 6 lead, to determine what's lawful and what's unlawful. You know, so it should, like, to your point, why would you not make it clear and say this is what it is? Now, you know, Biden's going to go say, hey, go kill those 3 Supreme Court justices that are stupid. Now they go and do it. The Supreme Court says it's legal, but now the military has to determine whether it's lawful or not. And then Biden can say, like Trump is going to say, I can guarantee you, oh, I'm going to pardon you. Don't worry about it. You know, and that's what's going to happen. So it put the country in turmoil, man. It was a really bad decision. It was really bad that they took the case up. And now we're left with where we are, where nobody knows anything now. Like, what do we do at this point? You know, that's kind of where we are. Yeah.
Yeah, I would just say I agree with you 110%. I mean, a couple of things. First of all, this Supreme Court is a farce.
Yeah.
This is what the framers were terrified of. Our Supreme Court is essentially a corrupt part of our government. There's no way, shape, or form to say it any differently. They're corrupt.
Yeah.
They are bought and sold in all of their decisions. You know, as far as I'm concerned, I mean, I believe that the governors and states of governors need to, not accept their decisions. There is nothing that is legally binding in what they say. They don't base it off precedent. They don't base it off the law. They base it off of protecting, their friends, and they've been doing it for quite a few times. As Bake said, there was no reason for them to take this case. They didn't change anything. They essentially said exactly what's already the law. Everybody knows that if the president is acting in his official capacity, he's immune. That's standard. That's been that way since our country has been in existence. Mm-hmm. Everybody understands.
And if they think he's not, Solomon, they impeach. You have impeachment powers. You don't bring criminal charges up until you get a criminal in office.
Exactly, and that's why you had Nixon. And then if you do something outside of your official capacity, then you are just like the common criminal in the street. You can be arrested and charged. So there was no reason for them to take this case. That's already been established. What they've done now is they were trying to save him from the DOJ case, because Trump's team is going to come back to the DOJ and say, oh, we need to have hearings to see if this was official capacity, which is essentially going to push the case out beyond the election. That's what it was about. It was really about protecting Trump. It gave that crooked judge down in Florida more leeway to delay his case. And it's sad. It really is, because this Supreme Court will be known as the most corrupt Supreme Court in the history of the United States, in my opinion.
But Solomon, one takeaway from that may end up being good or backfiring is because now they're saying, Judge Chutkan or whoever, you have this evidentiary case. Yeah. So now you can do that in public with television cameras. You can see all the dirt that he did. The public can see, Smith's entire case laid out without it even going to trial. And that way that can be done before the election, because they have to do it ASAP. So you put all that dirt out there and say, this is what else he did. This is what, and then the people get to see all the evidence. So that may be helpful even without a trial, because you put all of his people get to see the dirt that he did to the nation. So
yeah, that's true. That's true. Tony?
Okay. So I was just thinking about some of the things y'all had just said. And one of the things that really stood out is Chief Justice what's his name, Chris?
Why am I drawing a blank too?
Yeah, that's old age. I just had a birthday, so y'all gotta forgive me. The Chief Justice. Anyway, when he
talking about Roberts,
John Roberts.
John Roberts, exactly. When he writes his rulings, he always put caveats in there, like he's trying his best to bring these judges together, and he can't. He's got to pick a side, and he's got to stop having these rulings that are unclear. In every turn in his ruling, he always left out that said, "Well, the federal government and not the Chief Justice, but the Justice Department can always ask the question, what's official and unofficial." He kept leaving little avenues that these prosecutors can use, but all it does is lead to more litigation after litigation. So it didn't make it clear. It just kept leading, and he always do that. And the thing about that is these judges get lifetime appointments, thinking that, okay, you don't owe nobody nothing anymore. They can't take you out of the seat. You don't owe Donald Trump anything. You don't owe Barack Obama anything. You can judge the way you see fit and the way the law reads in your as it reads and as presidents have it. We have broke so many presidents with this court, it ain't even funny. And when you have a lifetime appointment, who are you worried about? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Why are they worried about the mega crowd when you can't be thrown out of office?
But here's the thing, Tony. What do you think about this? every one of them, when they took the oath, they said we're a judge, and all judges do things on precedent, as you said, and then they go in and reverse it. Isn't that perjury under oath before Congress at their hearings? Why not just say
nobody brings it up? Nobody brings it up. We can't be the smartest person in the world.
No, we're not. Here it is. I mean, we're all former military. So, what is the one thing that we would always guide you? Code, right?
Yeah.
None of these guys have any type of core or code or
core values.
Or values. They have no core values. So they don't stand on anything, which is how they can come in and change precedent, 100 years of precedent, and change it based upon a small, minute change in a policy. Like, for instance, the Chevron decision they just called. That's 100 years of precedent, and they just destroyed it. So that means that all those companies can go back and now sue the federal government. That's essentially what that case did. You erased it. So all the regulations that have been put in place over that significant amount of time, they changed that in one decision to have all of these companies who feel like they've been wrong can now sue the government. This is our Supreme Court.
And that's what it does. They're saying, and that's why they're saying, this is going to be these decisions that we make they're lifetime decisions. They last forever. Like when they say we abolish slavery, then you can go, everybody that was done wrong, to Suleiman's point, you can go back and say, I need to be compensated or corrected for everything wrong that you've done, because that precedence is there. And once it gets reversed, like marijuana, Biden said, hey, I'm taking the not immunity, I'm taking the sentence away from everyone that used marijuana because it's now legal. Because once you do that, that's it. Like you said, you open Pandora's box at that point. So
and back to my thing was Judge Amy Comey Bryant.
Barrett.
There you go. Thank you. She agreed with the majority, but she dissented on one part. The part that I think is very important. The part that says you cannot, if Donald Trump breaks a law and he go talk to his prosecutor or what you call his attorney general about something, you can't use what he talked to the attorney general about as evidence because it's official business, because he talked to the attorney general. Amy Coney Bryant said that was a mistake because that's an easy way to hide illegal behavior and stuff. So you did have one of those people that sided with the other three on that, and that part is so easy. All of them could have sided with that. Yeah. It's so easy.
And I think before Trump, they all would have. I think it would have been unanimous, but not for the Trump appointees, maybe. But Roberts was a moderate judge. I don't know what's happening to this. It's just crazy.
Well, he's getting pulled to the right by Justice Thomas and Alito. They pulling him to the right.
But I don't think he's getting pulled to the right. I think these guys have no code.
Yeah.
So it's all about money.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Thomas. Thomas is a crook.
That's part of what we're saying. Pulled to the right. He had a code. They couldn't pull him to the right. He was stick by his code.
Right. It's all about their families.
Yeah.
Clarence Thomas is a crook. He's a crook. He hasn't done. He didn't prepare himself for life, and from a financial standpoint, and all these rich people who want, no regulations, no rules. Yeah. We'll pay him. They'll say, look, we'll give you $200 million. That's nothing. That's a drop in a bucket for some of these guys as far as their money's concerned. But to Thomas, that's generational wealth for 2 or 3 generations.
Yeah. And Suleiman and Tony, I swear, if I was president, if I was Joe Biden at this speech tonight, I would say, since there are no repercussions, I would like my Justice Department to investigate Justice Thomas on tax evasion. Yep. And I would say that's the first thing I'm going to do. The second thing I'm going to do, I'm going to expand the court because the
Yep.
Constitution doesn't prohibit. This is me. I'm like, this is my last term. Y'all think I'm crazy? I'm gonna show I'm crazy.
Right.
I'm going to expand the court by four justices to make sure my people are in the majority. And when I get re-election, I'll bring it back down to 9. I'm not going to let them be appointed for life. I'm going to tell Congress, hey, set it at 20 years. They probably won't do that because it has to be ratified by the states and all that, like we talked about before. But if I'm in that pulpit, I'm gonna say these are the things I'm going to do based on that decision. I'm bringing up charges on that dude, that Justice Thomas is doing all this illegal stuff. Can't do anything about flying the flag upside down. That's more moral than illegal. But Thomas is breaking the law, and I'm going to expand the court, and I'm going to recommend it goes to 20 years.
But Bagda, expanding the court doesn't need state approval.
No, he can do that right now. I'm just saying
done twice.
I'm just saying, but then once I get reelected, I'm bringing it back down to 9 because once you get 13 people on that court, it's hard to do business. It's hard to logistically. They don't even have enough space in the court to put all those offices in there. But I'm gonna say work in the hallway for 8 months because right now this is a mess. This is a debate, and if I'm buying, I got nothing to lose at this point. That's what I'm doing.
Exactly.
I'm gonna see what he says. He's not gonna say any of that. But if it was me, I'm like, I think I'm crazy. Watch this, and I'm doing all.
Look, Judge Chutkan, I think you will see her move pretty fast. If she don't come up with a date for these hearings this week, it'll be early next week. I think she's already ready to go. I think she's locked
the case in. Well, she didn't say it, but someone from her staff said they've had talks, and she thinks she can get the case in before election.
yeah. That's what I heard. So I think she locked and loaded. You know,
but Tony, I mean, if he's guilty, I mean, I think it's not going to matter. They already proved it. His people are still going to be with him. But what it does is those independents, those never Trumpers, it says it's another scale on the thumb. It's another, notch in the belt saying, look at what else this clown did, and then the evidence can come out even without a hearing. Like Suleiman and I were talking about when you stepped away, you can do this stuff without even having a hearing. You can put all the evidence and no rebuttal. You just come in and present, this is what he did wrong, and say, this is why it needs to go to trial. And that's going to be a major impact on America, I think so.
Oh yeah.
I think that, we talked this to death, but my point is that the American people need to get into their mind that this Supreme Court is corrupt. Mm-hmm. They're corrupt to the core. There are a couple justices on there that still believe in the justice system and law in the United States, but for the most part, the conservatives on the court are corrupt. They are criminals.
And I don't know.
So I don't take anything that they say, any judgment that they make as legitimate. There is something behind them that is causing them to make that decision. In my opinion, that's finances. They're corrupt. They have no legitimacy in my mind. And I'm sad that I have to say that because I'm former military and I'll be willing to fight for this country, to the death. But in my opinion, our Supreme Court is a bunch of corrupt criminals, and they should be treated.
I totally get it, man. Totally get it. The one thing I always have faith in, I said these politicians do whatever they want to. They got to go to court, and the law is the law, and the law is going to hold them accountable. Now I can't even say that anymore.
That was the thing. Can't
even say that no more. So I think any more last words on this? We got a few minutes to go into the NBA draft. I'm not too enthusiastic about it, but we can. So anything left on this?
Our Supreme Court is corrupt.
Yeah. I mean, and the thing is why do they have to be? When your decision is going to go down for life, just do what you were put there to do. Why do you have to cave for a few $1 million and ruin the reputation of the nation? Because when you're appointed to that seat, that's not why you go there. And I just don't know why people would do that. It's just strange to me.
And it turned pretty quick too. It's always been this push and pull about conservative justice and liberal justice, but somehow they always got to the law. They always got to the law.
Yeah, exactly.
But in the last 10 years, maybe 12 years, it just seemed like they overturning laws instead of getting to the law.
Yeah. In the 70s and 80s, a lot of decisions were 9-0, 8-1, 7-2. It was just it was just this is the law. You can, and I can understand one person maybe interpreting it wrong, but like you said, now they're just running over, historical precedents, and
Right.
that's what the law is built on. It's built on precedents. You say because it happened this way, we have to abide by that. Now they're just flipping it every turn they get, and I don't understand why they're doing that. But
and you can tell by the subject who's gonna vote for what.
Yeah, they say in advance, even the people, they bring those analysts in and they say, the decision is going to be 6-3, and this is who it's going, and they're right every time, because why even listen to the arguments, because they say going in, it always comes out the way that they predict. So you're right.
Yep.
Yeah,
you're right.
Exactly.
But like Suleiman said, when you got corruption, there's no way to hide it. They know, because that's the way they are, and that's the way it's going to be. It's just unfortunate.